What's up YouTube, Mambuna Marcus here. Time for another fish room update video. It's been a little while, but there always seems to be something new in the mix. As you guys know, I do breed and raise some fish. I don't do it on a, how can I say, a level where I'm looking to make money. I kind of do it as enjoyment these days. And we'll start with this 55-gallon grow-out aquarium. As you can see, it's fully stacked with lots of different cichlid juveniles, and we'll take a little closer look and I'll scroll in for you. First tank was just my hospital tank, so we're just going to avoid that. Below, again, just another grow-out aquarium. Again, I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time on each tank. A lot of them are pretty much the same, they're just all at different sequences. So for example, the 55-gallon is pretty much the last stop on the grow journey for these fish, and most of these fish again are the ones that I sell. So if someone stops in, usually they're purchasing from this aquarium, and again, anything that I don't sell, typically I'll trade off to the aquarium store and vice versa. So as you can see, just a lot of different hap crosses. I have some OBs, some Nyeri. Red top zebra just went back there, and a few very small stragglers or runts of the red tiger batch that I had maybe almost a year ago. And again, just a good general selection of juvenile fish that all look good. And there's quite a bit of filtration on this aquarium. I'm running an Emperor 280, an Aqua Clear, the old 300s. And I added this big sponge filter in. I got the idea from another guy here, Dario, in town that breeds a lot of fish, and he has these large sponge filters in his aquarium, and the addition of that extra surface area has made probably all the difference in this tank. So like I said, in combination with the two power filters and this huge sponge filter, this tank stays crystal clean. And like I said, as you can see, I can stack it really heavily with no incident. So other than that, the other tank below is another 55-gallon. This is my red tiger these are my tiger wolf cichlids. So a tiger wolf is a cross between a Parachromis dovi, or a wolf cichlid, and red tiger motaguens. So as you can see, these crosses have had babies of their own. They were babies I raised up, and now have their own family. So male on the right, female on the left, and lots of babies everywhere. It's funny because I have two males. This male has a little more in the characteristics of the red tiger, and my other male that I keep in another tank, who a lot of times doesn't come out, he showcases a lot of dovi characteristics. So it's funny that there is a little bit of a variance between just the different individuals that I raised up. So other than that, that's the 55-gallon at the bottom. Here's 4 or 5 gallon aquariums. This is where the fry start their journey, and does quite well, has sponge filters in all the tanks. And above, this is what I just did a video on. I call it the tiger tank, and the reason for that is, again, this is where my larger red tiger motaguenses are. Like you can see, these females, and I have a larger albino tiger Oscar, and there's also tiger botillas, like this guy right here in the tank. So just a lot of common names with tiger in it. So I figured, I'll just call it the tiger tank as things grow out. But this tank does very, very well. Crystal clear. Ever since I added the Aqua Clear 110 to it, you'll notice the huge sponge. I filled the container with biomedia for surface area, and then I took the sponge and I put it on the intake tube. So this way it's easy access. I'm probably cleaning that sponge once every week and a half, and it's amazing the amount of debris that comes out of it. So ever since I put that onto the tank that way, the tank has stayed a lot cleaner. As you can see, it's crystal, and the fish seem to be really, really doing well in here. So other than that, in combination with one of the larger Coralia pumps, You can see this thing just chugging water. And again, it's home to a lot of my red marble convicts, and I added some nice Salvini cichlids. You'll see the female hiding out in the plants there. See if I can get her out. But there's probably 6 of them that I've thrown into the aquarium, and they're all doing very, very well, which is awesome. So other than that, we go to my 35-gallon grow out, and again, this is just has some of the medium-sized red tigers in it. Again, every tank has red tigers, and the reason for that was I probably raised 300 fry. So I'm down to probably about the last 50 of them. But again, that was a lot of fish, so they're scattered everywhere throughout the fish room. So other than that, you know, I keep some of my fancier plecos in the tank. Won't be able to see them. There's one of my leopard cactuses. I have some queen arabesque, and there's also a 3-beacon triactis in here. So really cool tank. The plecos are the ones that dirty it. Tank doesn't stay clean too long, but other than that, it does its job. Tank below, this is the other tank with my other male tiger wolf. See if I can get him out. He's pretty interactive, but also very standoffish. Really cool fish. Like I said, this one showcases more of the dove-eye characteristics, and I'd be interested to kind of grow this guy out to maybe his full potential. So from there, we have the 20-gallon grow out. This is where all my OBs and dragon blood babies make their way to. I will be pulling out the red tigers out of the 35-gallon, and these guys will be going into that. So I noticed that if you keep the fry active on their journey, you know, you don't spend too much time, say, growing them out in the 5-gallon, and then move them up to, say, a 20 and then on to the 35. I find it's very key to keep the fry moving along to larger aquariums. I found that spending too much time in a tank will limit their growth. They'll hit a certain point where they'll kind of max out, but then they'll basically stagnate from there on. So I've noticed that moving and circulating the baby fish, you know, to larger aquariums sooner than later is very beneficial. Tank below, sorry for the lighting, there's no light on it. Again, there's another 15-gallon tank filled with OBs and dragon bloods. So other than that, that's the fish room. Just a lot of fish getting big, doing their thing. So let's move on to the other tanks. So here's my main display tank. As you can see, it's filled with African cichlids as a majority. And the colors are looking really good. The tank's doing very, very nicely. I was having issues. Some of the equipment I had on it, I had some Emperor filters. I'm still running the one Emperor 400, and I've added an AquaClear 110 to the tank, just kind of like you've seen in my 135-gallon grow out. But some of this equipment, like the Emperors I had on the aquarium, were really, really old, and I think the 280 that I originally had on the tank that I replaced with the AquaClear was just losing some of its effectability. So the tank itself was kind of getting dirtier, you know, quicker over time. So especially with the larger bio load, it was really under, how can I say, you know, it was really overworked basically. And since now I've added the new filter to the tank, the water is just different level clear, which I'm very, very happy with, and the fish are definitely responding very, very well to it. So you'll see there's just a good mixture of everything in here. Some notables are my Alonocara maylandi, sulfur head, which the common name is. He's doing very, very nicely. He's from Old World Exotics, so again, a very, very good quality male. I've also added this bicolor to the aquarium, and as you can see, he is a stunning specimen. So the new additions to the tank are doing very well. My Tredosophilus, which are the Frontosa lookalikes, they've really, really grown. I have a large Julie in the aquarium. That has also grown. See her right there. Dragon Blood from PetSmart has really come into its own also, showing very good coloration, as well as some of my OBs. But again, just a good general mix of everything in this tank. And again, the whole goal was basically showcasing as much color. This is the oldest fish I own. That's a green phantom pleco. And it's funny, if I go back to the original video that I ever did, it was shot in 2009. So this guy, he was very small when I bought him. Still has a ways to go, but I would say, you know, I've had him for about 8.5 years, and he was probably a good 1.5 to 2 years when I purchased him. So yeah, give or take, that's probably, you know, close to a 10-year-old pleco. But you know, I think with the way he's doing and looking, he's got a long life ahead of him still. So it's always cool when you shoot a video and you see how long ago it was that you still have some of the originals. And that's also for these Synodontis petricola. They were also around the same age. So yeah, other than that, you can see I took one of my Hap crosses, threw him in the tank. You can see he's starting to develop. And that's what I'm going to do. Any fish that I don't sell that really start turning into something nice or start showcasing some good coloration, they're going to end up in this aquarium. So other than that, doing very well. Here's my big female Madagascar. Poloni, used to be called Bleaker Eye. See if I can get her to come over. Really interactive. Great fish. Doesn't really showcase too much aggression, but is a very good mix in this aquarium. So other than that, that's the display aquarium. Let's head downstairs. So here we are. These are the two 75s that I keep in my laundry room. One below is housing some extra female OB peacocks, some red marble convicts, and as you can see, an extremely red Oscar, which I just did an update on not too long ago. The above tank is housing my male red terror. He's a very beautiful specimen, but he is also very aggressive. So I basically need to separate him from the female. He was just at her just a little too much, and she was just maybe a little too small. You know, she was definitely fighting back, but you know what? That would definitely help her once she gets a little more size on herself before I reintroduce him. So he's doing really well. He is spectacular. His coloration, his personality, A1 fish, very happy. And like I said, once the female's large enough, I'll reintroduce him. But for now, he has this tank and seems quite content in it all alone. So below, get a better look at Igor the Oscar. Someone mentioned that he's maybe a chili red Oscar. Definitely looks to be like that along those lines, just based on how much red is in him. And again, he's still kind of in quarantine. I'm debating on putting him upstairs with the other Oscars in the 135, but until then, he seems to be doing very nicely in here. After I did a big water change, he seemed to really appreciate it, and also has become very interactive. So there you go. Starting to flare out at the back. Definitely seems like he has more attitude than the ones I have upstairs. So either way, he's doing nicely in here. Well, he took a swipe at one of the fish. But either way, all the numbers are still intact. Still might pull out a few, but until then, he seems to be doing and fitting in very nicely. Again, once he went into the aquarium, his personality seemed to have perked up immediately. So he seems to be doing well and is quite happy. And I'd like to do kind of a showcase video with him maybe in the near future, but just an outstanding specimen. I'm very happy I picked him up, and I'll definitely enjoy more of them down the road. So those are the tanks in the laundry room. Let's head out to the female red terror tank. So here's the last stop on the tour. This is the 135 gallon red terror tank, minus the male. This is the female. and it's nice that she's out and about. And like I said, she was just maybe a little too small to handle the male, so I'm working hard on fattening her up and getting her a good size. Red Terrors tend to grow pretty quickly, so it probably won't take too long, maybe another 2 or 3 months, and she'll definitely be a little more formidable and handle herself a little bit better with the male. You'll notice that there's a lot of fry in the aquarium, and when I'm keeping fry, you'll notice also a lot of algae on the glass. I don't like to scrape the glass down. I try to keep the tank as balanced as I can without any major changes to the style. I have found in the past that if I do a major overhaul of an aquarium while the females are caring for their brood, the next day or two, all of a sudden all the fry can go missing. Something about the balance gets disrupted, and then I lose out on the fry. So typically I try to keep the tank in a stable state, smaller water changes, and don't get in there and scrape off too much of the algae. So you'll see she's doing very well. And I actually wanted to kind of showcase this in another video, and I will do so. If you look at all the fry in here, the funny thing is that they're not, there's maybe only 10 red terror fry in the whole aquarium. So you're asking yourself, well, what are the other fry in the tank? And these fry are actually the tiger wolf fry from upstairs. So I'm using this female as a surrogate mother because I noticed the tiger wolves upstairs have raised their brood to a certain size, but I've noticed that the numbers have started to disappear. And that can happen sometimes keeping these American cichlids. For no apparent reason, some of the fry start to disappear, or the parents start, basically picking them off. But I decided before they, pick off everything, and I really didn't have another tank for them. I decided basically to introduce them into the tank with a very caring mother. And I've done this in the past, I've just never really showcased it or discussed it. But using a surrogate mother is a great alternative. So I'll see if I can kind of scroll in on the different fry. But you'll see these are all tiger wolves. And in here, there's a red terror. He took off. And it's really funny because I'll catch at the parts of the day where all the little red terrors, there's only maybe 10 to 15 of them, but they'll hang out together, and then the tiger wolves hang out together. So even at this size, they know the difference between each other. But, it's a great use of space, basically. So that's kind of what I want to talk about in an upcoming video, is just maximizing, the space your tanks have. And in a case like this, where I'm using a surrogate mother, it's the perfect option. So that said, that's the end of the tour. Thanks for watching.